So, I want to talk about something that honestly we all go through at some point: loss. It can be a breakup, someone leaving your life, or even something like losing a job. And suddenly your emotions are just everywhere. And you don't really understand why. There is actually a theory that explains this pretty well: the 5 stages of grief. So, I'm going to explain where this comes from and what those stages actually are. This model comes from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She was a psychiatrist working in the 1960s with people who were terminally ill, so people who knew they were going to die. And what she did was basically listen to them and notice patterns in how they were dealing emotionally with that reality. She later wrote a book called On Death and Dying, and that's where this model comes from. At the beginning, it was about facing death, but now it's used for any kind of loss. What the theory says. So the idea is that when we go through loss, we tend to move through 5 emotional stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But something really important here: this is not a straight line. It's not like, okay, I finished denial, I moved to anger. You can go back, skip, repeat, or feel 2 at the same time. The first stage is denial. This is usually the shock, like, this is not happening, this can't be real. It's almost like your brain is protecting you. Because if you felt everything at once, it would be too much. So denial gives you a bit of distance at the beginning. Then comes anger. And this can show up in different ways. You can be angry at the other person, at yourself, at life. Like, why did this happen? How did I let this happen? And honestly, anger is not random. It actually helps you feel less vulnerable. It gives you this illusion of control for a moment. Then we have bargaining. This is when your mind starts trying to fix it. You go into these thoughts like, if I had done this differently, maybe we can still change it. What if I try again? It's basically your brain trying to negotiate with reality. But the problem is, you can't negotiate something that already happened. Then comes depression. And this is usually the hardest part, because this is when it really hits you. Okay, this is real. You feel sad, low energy. Maybe you don't want to see people. You just feel disconnected. And this part is important. This is not necessarily clinical depression. It's a natural response to loss. It's where you actually start processing what happened. And finally, acceptance. This doesn't mean you're happy about it. It just means you understand it. You accept that it happened, and you start adjusting to your life without that person or situation. You don't forget, you just integrate it. Something that I think is really important to understand is this: you can feel okay one day and then suddenly go back to anger or sadness. That doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means this process is not linear. Everyone experiences it differently. So yeah, that's the model. It doesn't explain everything, and not everyone goes through all 5 stages in the same way. But it gives you a framework, a way to understand that your feeling is actually part of a process, not something random. If you've gone through something like this, you probably recognize at least one of these stages. And yeah, I know, it's not easy. But at least now you can see it a bit more clearly.